Hello and welcome to Mind Behind the Mouth, the place where we will be taking you on a journey through topics that we get easily interested in and overly passionate about. Alright, Mind, old buddy. Today's totally tubular topic.
Today's topic is one that echoes through infinite worlds, a desert that stretches beyond reason, a stranger in black, always just ahead, a gunslinger chasing.
Alright, beautiful setup. Color me intrigued.
Before the chase, before the tower, there was a plague.
Okay, yes. Now I am thoroughly excited for this, because we are going to go ahead and be taking our expanded journey to the Dark Tower. Our first expanded journey to the Dark Tower. Now, long ago, about 15 years ago, I actually read The Gunslinger, and I wasn't even on my journey to the Dark Tower. I just saw it and it looked pretty good. I did love the book, and I wasn't 100% sure that there was a follow-up, and then I recently, after graduating, I was in the army. Then after I got out, I had a kid, then another kid, and hobbies just started getting put on hold. But I did start getting back into reading. Unfortunately, it was recently and not further back, but we're here, we're back. I love to read. I used to read like 3 series at a time back in high school, and it was phenomenal. And I've always loved hearing about the Dark Tower and all the theories that go on. I think it's a really fun sounding series, and all of Stephen King's connected multiverse of books is just so fun. So finally, I would like to go ahead and take that long journey that many of you have taken, and you know, instead of just doing the regular Dark Tower books, I'm actually gonna go ahead and do the expanded journey, following this wonderful informative video by Jimmy Mango. So I'm gonna go ahead and be following his expanded journey to the Dark Tower list. It's a very awesome informative video. Please go ahead and watch it if you have the time, and if you don't make the time. So we're starting a little bit differently though. So instead of starting where he starts, we're gonna go ahead and actually be starting off with The Stand.
No, wait. That's not right. That's not the first book in the series.
No, I know it's not the first book.
It's separate, so I start there.
Well, I was about to get there, and then you butted in.
Alright. Carry on.
Okay. Listen, so The Stand, I know, is not the first Dark Tower book, but many have, you know, claimed that The Stand with Randall Flagg, who is a moniker, which is a moniker for the Man in Black, which he will later gain. It is kind of widely accepted among the Kingdom universe theorists that the Randall Flagg's appearance in The Stand is his earliest appearance. It's where he kind of starts to gear up and get going, and is earliest seen on the timeline of events in the books. So I love how The Gunslinger starts. The Man in Black fled across the desert. The Gunslinger followed, or something like that. Now this basically sets up an established history between the Man in Black and the Gunslinger, one that we are not privy on. Now I don't know if we can become privy on it, but I think a fun way to relook at that book is to already have a kind of expectedness of the Man in Black by knowing a little bit of his raunchy history. And so what I was thinking of doing, not starting with the first one, I know, I was going to start with The Stand, and then Eyes of a Dragon, and then Gunslinger. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of get acquainted and know the Man in Black, Randall Flagg, before you know, we go ahead and start picking up our journey with the hero of our tale to the tower to protect it from the Man in Black, I think is what it's going to be about. But rambling on, we are going to be starting with The Stand. Now I actually tried starting this book 5 years ago, 2020. It hit a little close to home, and I did not get very far as the catching of the cold was going around. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is okay, maybe we'll try this again later. I do have I had a very older copy that was given to me, and then my daughter at the time decided she wanted to look at the cover and the back cover separate from the book. And then as I saw this happening, she also decided to sign it. And when I exclaimed, "Stop, you're not Stephen King, so you shouldn't be doing that," she looked at me and then finished the signature. So I have a signed copy of The Stand. It is missing the cover, but I feel like that's a collectible of some way. This is not going to be the version I've been reading. This is the original that came out that has like the 800 pages. I did order the complete uncut edition. That's downstairs. That's going to be the one we're going to go ahead and be reading. Now, I thought a fun process for this video would be to go ahead and do like a 200-page checkup to give some thoughts that I'm having while reading, and thoughts that are going to be kind of popping up that I think where things may be going, and you know, just nice kind of 200-page check-ins. So then we can go ahead and, after all that is done, come back here and get our final thoughts on the first book, the first step of this long journey to the Dark Tower. And I'm really excited. I hope you guys are really excited as well. Let's go ahead and start this together. See you in 200 pages. Bye, buddy. I gotta go read. Okay, so we have officially finished The Stand. This thick-ass bad boy here. Now we're going to go ahead and give our final thoughts and a little bit of a starting of a ranking. I didn't hate this book, but I really didn't like it. I hated a part of this book for sure, and I feel like it wasted a good amount of my time. Especially once it reminded me that the only reason I cared about this book was because I was here for Randall Flagg. And I feel like I got some Randall Flagg, but I would have loved to get a lot more of the Man of Black.
We didn't get much Randall Flagg at all.
And even, like, I love how mystifying his... All spoilers here. I love how mystifying the death was. Like, him just vanishing, like, before the bomb goes off. It was almost like a natural reflex power that he doesn't know how to control or use, and he didn't know it was there, and it was like almost like self-preservation activated. Like, it's like he didn't even know he was that powerful to like get the fuck out of there, but like his powers, almost like a spidey sense, was like, hey, you're gonna die, here's a power, like, and it's like, here's one that you had that you didn't know you had, but it's for the oh shit. And and then, like, I think that's why he just disappeared right before the bomb goes off, because clearly he's gaining power and he's losing himself, which I think was a really fun, like, dichotomy there, because, like, you think of him as so powerful, and you also see that he's, oh shit, he's just losing his simple, like, memory and identity of, like, who he is.
Is he reincarnated?
I don't know if that's like reincarnated. I feel like that was him like going to another world. So like, because Stephen King's worlds are like multiversal. Like, so this book like mentioned Castle Rock. So this book mentioned Castle Rock quite a few times. It mentions it like 2 or 3 times, and Castle Rock is not prevalent obviously to this world's universe because of all the shit that's gone on. But he has quite a few books set in Castle Rock. And obviously they're not going to be stories set in this world, because this world's fucked. Also, that's the other thing I hate. Alright, I'm going to touch on that real quick. This world is fucked. I honestly did not like the ending at all. I didn't like the...
I did not either.
I did not like the... there's no...
I thought it was rushed.
It felt like there was no actual, like, telling you what's going to happen. Like, that sucked. Okay, like, everything's set up, and then it's just, like, it leaves you in a... Well... Who knows what's gonna happen? Like with the babies, I would have loved a.
Yeah.
I would have, like, tell me or not if the human race is fucked. Because like, if 2 immune parents create the immune baby and then none of those symptoms show up, fine. But if it's a coin cost for every baby that's born, Glenn said it halfway through this book.
There's 18 babies born and only 4 died.
Only 4 died, but if their percentage of still getting it and dying, Glenn said that within 40 years, like, it's still a dwindling number.
But I thought Fran's baby, because Fran was immune, that's what made her baby, like, he would get the symptoms and everything, but his immune system would fight him.
Yes,
So
that's what it was saying. That was their theory. The fact that we only saw it with 1, it remains just a theory. Nothing is confirmed from then on. Nothing's confirmed with the 2 immune parents. So, like, her baby survived, but possibly, like, that's just one of the survivors, and Glenn still could have been right in that if babies are susceptible to getting Captain Trips, they're gonna like possibly lose humanity in 45 years. Captain Trips gonna wipe them out within like 40 years.
Oh, and the babies that were like, they had obviously like medical facilities, but the babies that are born just in regular towns that don't have doctors or like high-tech medical facilities, obviously their birth rate is gonna be way lower. They're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Even if the parents are immune.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Which was so stupid of her also to be like, let's move.
Yes, that's what I thought too. And is she pregnant again? Because it said that she patted her flat stomach and he asked if the baby was going to be okay.
Huh. I didn't catch that.
And their baby now is 6 or 7 months old.
Yeah.
And, you know, when Stu gets back and they're reunited, you know.
I could see that.
Which is extra
but still,
dumb.
yeah, extra dumb. Like, and she like leaves her friend who's also pregnant. It's like
to go to Maine. What's in Maine?
Yeah, her old dead home.
In Maine.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck? Like old locations that you used to like that are now like corpse ridden. Like, what are you doing? Like,
right. You have to get rid of all those corpses and clean those houses. What if the people there are not friendly? You don't know what other kind of civilizations are going on right now. You don't know how they're setting up society.
And yeah, like Boulder's getting too crowded. So like move a little bit out of Boulder, like where you're still accessible to the doctors.
Like, do they not want humanity
the doctors.
To restart again?
I don't even care about the humanity. It's the doctors. If your kid gets fucked up,
yeah.
you're gonna need something there. Like, like,
yeah.
I think that that was
Stu
one of
just went along with it.
Yeah, that was
like,
so
Stu,
stupid.
Come on.
Like, okay, yeah, cool. The only like legit, no, like guaranteed care you have for your child. You just throw it out the window.
Like, Stu just came back from there. You want to go back out there, Stu? Did you not just see what happened to you? My favorite part, though, was in the beginning, seeing all, like, the different viewpoints of people getting sick. And, like, how it spread from one person to the next. That was cool.
That was it was interesting watching it all, like, transition and, like, rapidly develop.
I got my feels over that little girl. I still think of that. The little girl that fell.
The 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, it was just, I wish we would have gotten a lot more of Randall Flagg, and a lot more of what was going on in the desert, seeing as this was, like, essentially we read it for his origin, and we did get that. I do feel like this is probably, like, what we're going to feel like the most, like, low-level Randall Flagg we're going to see. So it is cool to see kind of, like, I think, okay, I will admit, it was cool to basically see him from human to start of, like, godhood of what he's going on. And I guess part 2, okay, this book, okay, so this actually might bump me up in the ranking a little bit more. Seeing the world that Randall Flagg came from. I think that's actually a fun plus for me, now that I think about it. So if I look at the world as a character here, like, this is the world where the most nefarious bad guy of the entire Dark Tower series is from. Like, this is his home world of the multiverse. We get to see his, like, start point and, like, become... I think that's pretty cool, actually. I think that might bump it up a couple notches for me, actually. Just being able to see the
Where's
world.
it at currently?
So I would say page 856, this book was number 22. After sitting with it for another 80 pages of rage reading, it got bumped up, and then after kind of jumping into Vegas for a good portion of it and like getting realigned of like, oh right, you're here for the Randall Flagg story and not the Nick Andros story, which I still waste of a good written character. It has moved. It went to number 10 when I finished this book, but I think with this point of looking at it as the origin world and everything like that, like you're seeing, like, so we didn't get as much Randall Flagg as I wanted, but we still get the origin place and kind of a little bit of background knowledge on a very mysterious cloaked figure who we will like know next to nothing about over like the first 3 course of books of the Dark Tower series. So with that, I think that can maybe move it to this isn't going top 5. This isn't top 5 of my like personal favorite books at all. Like,
no.
I don't think I'll ever read this book again.
I might in a few years, but not anytime soon. I feel like they focus so much on the committee, like committee this, committee that, building this town and Mother Abigail, and you go through chapter after chapter after chapter, and then it'd be like one paragraph about Randall Flagg, and then more and more chapters about these committees, and then these committees don't even amount to anything. Like, you can read, if you took out all the talk about this committee, the book would not change.
Yeah. Well, I guess it the only thing, like, with the committees, like, is it did kind of, like, set up certain events, like people leaving or rules or something like that. So, like, I do see the purpose of, like, you know, like, the committee stuff, because it did, like, inform the actions of, you know, the people on that side. But
they could have added more Randall Flagg, or more what's going on in Vegas.
Like, I don't think we needed it to be as in-depth as it was. It wasn't as pertinent to the story as it was initiating to seem. Like, I don't think that's how I was supposed to say that, but it didn't, like...
I got what you meant.
Yeah, it just, it didn't hit as I wanted to. We did focus, I think, a little bit too much on it. I think some of it was important, so we saw how it was all going, or, like, the sending out of Tom to eventually come around and rescue Stu and stuff like that, and, like, having that background knowledge is good, but it's almost like, you know, just a little bit too much detail there.
I actually like the whole Tom and Stu little trip. Like,
I thought that was fun.
thought Tom, when they said that they were going to send Tom in, I thought for sure he was toast. I did not think he was going to come back. I thought
it was going to ruin his psyche more than anything.
Yeah, true. Did they ever take him out of the hypnosis?
Yeah, they took him out of the hypnosis and he went. It was like a deep hypnosis. It was like...
But weren't they supposed to say something and he come out of his hypnosis?
What do you mean? No, like, it was like a... part of the hypnosis was like, when the sun looks like this, you start walking back, and, like, you only walk at night. Yeah, and, like, but, like, there was, like, he doesn't, like, go back into hypnosis or anything like that. And, like, he's always had these moments of zoning out.
Yeah.
Where he's almost like, he's kind of like, you know, in his zen, and his mind is clicking better than, you know, it should. So there's that. I'm going to make sure this is still recording. Good.
I didn't know that was recording.
It's for voices. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I think that's, like, I didn't like it at first, but I am glad it didn't, like, completely, like, he didn't have to, like, be a part of any tortures or crucifix. He might have been a part of some crucifixions. I don't know, like.
Well, I think the fact that he is mentally handicapped is why Randall didn't know that he was the third spy. Because
no one assumed it. Like,
yeah, no one would have.
But if
Dana wouldn't have killed herself.
Not even Dana. No. Oh God, that was cool. If the little slut would have said something earlier, if she would have said something earlier and just made that slight connection, like, sooner, and had Tom's name been associated with Nick sooner, then
that would have been bad.
Boom, like,
because he left just in time.
The fact that, like, you know, Randall Flagg had the name of the 7, like, oh, these are the 7 important people, like, so all someone would have had, like, all she would have had to do is, like, get it known that, like, oh, Tom is associated with Nick, and then boom, there it is, lockdown. Yep. Like, so that could have been crazy.
Yeah.
But the fact that, like, I don't know, he also ended, I don't see what having Larry and Ralph at Vegas, that bomb was going off either way.
Right, because Trash Can Man had already done what he done.
He got his feelings hurt, and then he was already gonna bring that shit back.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like, see, I wish we had a little bit more clarification on what the fucking electric hand was that came down and poked the bomb, because, like, if that was, like, directly from them, or, like, because they were there, they were, like, the kind of, like, charges for it, and, like, Mother Abigail and Nick and anyone else who has died on the other side is able to, like, collectively reach down through them as kind of like a lightning rod and bring in their, like, power to do that. But it didn't say Larry and Ralph were the people that made the fucking electric hand. They were just as stunned as everyone else. So unless their presence gave the ability to whoever made that hand, why the fuck did they have to be there to blow up with the bad guys?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, this doesn't even make any sense.
And it's not like they had to be grouped up for that bomb to effectively get them. Anyone in a 100-mile radius of fucking Vegas is
gone.
fucked.
Yeah.
Fucked. It didn't matter if they were all working, in their spots or all gathered up in that spot right there. That bomb goes off right there. They're gone. They're toast.
Yeah.
Their whole center of operations done. So like, what was the point of Larry and Ralph having to come to the center and bring everyone there for? Pissed me off. Like,
and Larry and Ralph needed. What was Stu needed for? He didn't even make the trip.
Yeah.
He broke his leg.
Well, he
and got
maybe
left
to help
behind.
Tom get back. I honestly don't see how Tom would have gotten back without Stu.
That's true.
Like they said, hey, Tom, come back. Like, did they know Winter was going to be coming like at that time? Because then that's just like, what the
He
fuck?
wouldn't have made it
He
for
wouldn't have
Tom.
made it
No, he
over
would
the
not have.
fucking towns or anything like that. Like they barely made it with somebody who knew how to
Together as a team.
with someone who knew how to get through this stuff. He didn't have the capability to one hold out during winter or get across the mountains during winter. So like, boom, that fucking double confirms. I think they fucked up. They fucked up by sending him. Like, that was so stupid. And the fact that they didn't make it just 1 month, they cut it so close to winter that it was going to be snowing in the Rockies. Jackasses.
Well, and he went as a spy. What information did he relay? Like
He saw
didn't even
Dana.
like say what any information that Tom might have picked up. Like,
Well, by
he
then it
was
doesn't
there
matter.
for a couple
Everyone
of
blew
well,
up.
no, but like I would like to know just in the storyline something juicy that maybe Tom would have found out. Like, but no, nothing juicy that Tom found out. Nothing juicy that Dana found out. Nothing juicy at all.
I am intrigued as to where he went. Randall Flagg went next. The last page and a half really mystified me, and the indigenous people.
Well, and the
like,
2 dates. Like, what is the point of the two
I think the 2
separate
dates.
in
I
the
think that was
Bible?
like when he started and finished the book. I don't know, because they're not that far apart from each other.
No.
And I don't think they have anything to actually do with the story. 75 and 80. I'm imagining this is when he originally started writing,
that could be.
and when he finished the book.
Does he sign on?
No,
his
wait,
books that way?
88. No. Because the original book came out. Okay, I don't like this. I don't understand those two either.
But no, I do think that's interesting.
Because his original book, I think, came out in 73. So that's even before this. I don't know why this is.
Does he remember his old life here? Or just like a whole new...
I think he remembers even less of what he remembered.
Because he was becoming unhinged
Way unhinged.
already. It's like, so every time he
I think all he knows is his
travels,
name.
does he become more and more unhinged and
Because
remembers less of himself?
I think he just...
Like, what, did he start off as a human before and he just like evolved into this creature?
Well, we've seen him start off as a human. He was the walking dude. Like, we've seen, like,
Yeah, but he
legends...
wasn't fully human
Legends...
then.
No, yeah, I know, but so... Yes, but at this point, I think this is probably going to be the most human we've seen him. So, like, maybe he used to be more human and his powers seem to just, like, change him and make him less who he is. But yeah, like, it seems like he doesn't really remember much of where he was.
Yeah. I want to know what happens to that tribe. What are they gonna do? What's he gonna do?
And he knows they're primitive. Faraday, this was our first time hearing his last name of
Yeah.
Russell Faraday, which I don't even know if that's true. Like, because I don't know anything. Like, it's so hard to know what's true with this guy because he doesn't know. Like, I know he said his name is Russell earlier in the book, but this is our first time hearing Faraday, and I don't know if that's his real last name or what. I also know it's not like the name he ends up sticking with anyways. Like, he ends up becoming known as Walter or something like that. The Man in Black will be his primary moniker, not the Walking Dude. So, like, I know him, like, with these kind of more imposing monikers and, like, situations. So it was really cool to see him so leveled down. That was a really interesting ending, and I wonder what world he ended up in and what time period they're in. Like, did he just land on a native tribe's place that's in a certain, like, also modern time, or did he land on a world in, like, primitive
Primitive time.
in a primitive time? Yeah. So that was something I was a little bit intrigued by, especially because the next book is a medieval setting.
Ooh.
And it's a medieval fantasy setting, where Randall Flagg is the main bad guy.
Hopefully we get to see more of Randall Flagg.
I'm really hoping, but I
less.
guarantee we won't. I think he's the bad guy that pops up for maybe like 10 pages out of this book. Like throughout the book. Like I'm not saying like 10 pages collected. I think it'll be like 2 pages here. He does, the heroes will like, get together, try to do stuff. He probably foils him again, and then the confrontation at the end. And then he'll probably fucking disappear. He disappear again and go to another world.
I wonder how he disappears this time.
Which, honestly, if a nuke can't kill him unsuspectingly, and this is at his lowest power level, that really sets up to how formidable of an opponent he will eventually be. Like, imagine how he starts to be when he starts to gain control of these powers or get new ones that he gets control of. Like, that's pretty terrifying. And actually, I think one of the main things actually already started to happen. One of his main powers is being able to, like, people act on his words.
Yeah.
He says something, they do it. Like, that is one of his most most powerful powers. Like, if he says stop breathing, you can't breathe. Like, no matter what you do, you will not be able to breathe. Like, you're compelled to listen to this man.
That's terrifying.
It's terrifying, and you start to see that in this one. Like, it's not as powerful as I've seen before.
Because you would think that
movie.
during that Dana would have told him something, or someone would have told him something about the spies if he knew about that power.
Yeah.
But no, the way Dana killed herself, oh my goodness.
That was crazy.
I was like, you go girl, but goodness.
He was getting mad too throughout this book.
And Nadine. I felt so bad for Nadine.
I didn't.
I did. I felt bad for her.
She was too on the fence for me this entire fucking
Oh
thing.
yeah, for sure.
Like, especially like with Larry early on, like,
yeah.
she made her choice long ago by like, oh, but maybe I should hold out my virtue for the big black bad guy, like.
I'm kind of happy and I'm kind of sad that Harold did die. I was really rooting for his death, but then when he died, I was just a little, I don't know, just sadness. I felt a little bit bad for him, but he got what he deserved. He was a turd.
No, he was a piece of shit.
Yeah, he really was. I was actually surprisingly upset that Larry did die. I did not like Larry in the beginning. I hated Larry. He disgusted me. And I was actually really sad that he died. And poor Lucy, having twins, no Larry.
That sucks, yeah.
Like, that's just sad and terrifying.
Maybe can you dig him
in?
in?
And Stu came back, and then didn't her and Fran live together?
Yeah.
So Fran's obviously gonna move out and be back with Stu.
Oh wait, you're saying Fran and Lucy, did they live together?
I think they did.
Oh.
And
I thought it was always Stu and Fran that lived together.
Well, they did, but then when
then you're
Stu
saying-
left,
yeah,
he was
yeah.
gone for like 5-6 months. And then Lucy and Fran have moved in together, but obviously Fran's gonna go back to living with Stu, and then Lucy's just gonna be by herself.
That's true.
That's sad.
Yeah, with no friends really.
And 2 babies by yourself too, like you don't not really know anybody in that town.
No, and speaking of Fran, one of my favorite parts of the book, page 762, all men are bastards.
But it's true, all men are bastards.
Great fucking call out. It wasn't meant at all, like, because this book was written, oh wow, maybe in French Kiss, maybe that was a reference to The Stand.
Oh, it could be.
Since that came out 20 years later. Like, because I think French Kiss came out in 93 or 94. This came out in 73. It's like 73. So, possibility there. Unless that part isn't in the original book. And then it's only in the complete edition. One second. Oh, there's no way I'll be able to find it because the page number won't be the same. 762. Maybe I'll do some checking and I'll put it in the editing. Because if it's not in the original, this came out in 89 or something like that, the complete edition. Late 80s, 88 or some shit like that. So Maybe that is when they were first published, 75 and 88. Because maybe
What an odd placement.
well, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like we're at the end of the book. For those 2 days, I feel like they should relate to the story somehow.
But it was definitely an unconventional start to our Dark Tower journey. But I think it was definitely a good one. I did like getting to know Randall Flagg. It was fun to see that establishment there. And yes, we're not technically on like the Dark Tower road yet, and we haven't even had the mentions of it or anything like that. She does kind of have a vague idea of what it is because of my mentionings and stuff like that, like the tower at the center of the multiverse, essentially, which I think is gonna be kind of like a very scary thing for someone like Randall to get to. Like someone that powerful being able to get to the center of the multiverse and just go anywhere he wants or take down the barriers, and that's crazy. I'm really excited to see what else he could do in this next book, Eyes of the Dragon. We're going to be starting that, and before we do that, we are actually going to go ahead and give this book a ranking from 1 to 22, where we're going to actually, after we read each one, we'll put it on the ranking board. And then once we've read the final one, we'll give it a look over until the final book. These are all apt to change. We might end up reading a book that knocks one down further. And so this list will probably be ever changing, ever shifting until we get to the final version of it. But starting off, where would you put this book?
I'm pretty neutral, so I'm going to put it at 11.
So I think that with the added parts in of me looking at this as like the world that Randall Flagg, the the Man in Black, originated from, that's kind of really cool to me. Like knowing the specific like origin point and place of him and how fucked up that world is, like so cool. So for me, I think I'll go ahead and put this at a 7. This thing really jumped up within like the last 6 days for me. This went from the
You gotta remember your page 900.
this was honestly my least. This was gonna stay 22 for some time. It really clawed its way back up once I started reshifting my perspective and looking at it not as a Nick Andros book, but I read this book specifically to gain knowledge on the Man in Black. Definitely got that. I kind of got his crazy, like his origins are still a mystery, but like more like understandable for me. Like, okay, so he was like, it's even almost like it's crazy that he was just a guy that became this. Maybe he was like a reincarnated like devil or something like they were saying this, but like the fact that he lived as a normal human for so long. And to me, if he sparked legend enough for like the world to know, or like at least the United States to know of the walking dude as kind of like folklore, that tells me he was walking in those jeans and boots probably for at least 60 years.
Yeah.
Like without aging. Like and that's why, that might be why his memory sucks. Like maybe he's like been alive for 160 years. And he's like been establishing this folklore, and he just kind of forgets because he's been alive so long. And like he's just been an immortal dude that's been walking around. And once the apocalypse happened, his powers started rapidly like accelerating. Like, and maybe that like the death of the world ignited or like awakened, that extra bit. Well, not even the evil, because I think he was like the tales about him didn't sound good before. So maybe it like awakened like that little extra powers and stuff that he had, and that's what made him like even more powerful. But maybe he was like just like kind of like a folklore, like a walking folklore that we kind of got more knowledge on. Like,
yeah.
So I think that's fun.
I hope we hear more about him in that book.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed his side of the story way more than the Boulder Free Zone. I loved his chapters. The Boulder Free Zone, a little slow. Didn't really care for it, to be honest.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was
But
really
I liked Vegas. I wanted to know what happened.
and it was intriguing. Like his plan was always like erratic, but like he seemed to like kind of know his endpoint. We still didn't even know his full endpoint, which I thought was pretty fun. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, world domination. He wanted world domination, but like it was really cool. Just like to what means, to what end.
How? Yeah,
like,
he was so organized.
He was very organized. Like and like he was all over the place. Like he was kind of like the still connected network of the world. Like everywhere he could be. Like it was insane. I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
But yeah, I think this is a pretty good start to our on our expanded journey to the Dark Tower. This is all going pretty good. We're gonna start doing our intros and exits together like this, and our video updates, of course, will probably be still filmed separately as we hit our marks differently. But I've had a blast so far starting this. How about you?
Yeah, I really liked it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, just based off of reading the back cover, but I was pleasantly surprised. It was very suspenseful.
Yeah, I think it was a really fun book.
It took me a lot longer to read than I thought.
I'm excited to get to the next ones, and I'm really excited to start our the actual Dark Tower books. Like the Gunslinger is still like I still remember that, and I haven't read that book in like 15 years. Like so, but I still love the way that book kind of like got me like feeling and everything like that. It was so weird, so sporadic, and it is a very unique book. I remember that. But it also in that way kind of like as another one of my loves of the of books is the Last Wish. That's one of my favorite Witcher books, and it's just like one of the short story ones that's more sporadic and stuff like that. So I do kind of like that sporadic storytelling that ends up getting tied together.
Yeah, that is neat.
But yeah, I'm very much looking forward for our next book, The Eyes of the Dragon. Be sure to come back and check next time. Let us know what you think of our ranking, and how crazy I was for having us start with The Stand instead of The Gunslinger, and then even going to Eyes of the Dragon and not The Gunslinger. I'm sure I'm making some people very upset with the way I'm reading The Dark Tower right now. Tell me about it. So yeah, we'll let you guys know how we feel about the next book, and be sure to tune back and see how we go. Alright, bye guys.